Ms. Baskerville, I want to start with identifying systemic issues. What, in your opinion, is preventing our young black people from becoming educators?
In terms of the systemic issues, I think there are so many that I look at them just in terms of 4 centuries of institutional and systemic exclusion. And these systemic factors have resulted in tremendous, entrenched, and intractable gaps. Education gap, economic gap, employment gap, income gap, health gap, wealth gap, sustainability gap, justice gaps, housing gaps. All of these gaps result in disparities in school systems, educations in schools within the same system. It result in an entrenched and intractable racial and ethnic underclass. And things that are associated with that mean that in order for us to get more black folks on the pathway of teaching, we have to unravel all of the gaps in between and make up for the gaps. We have to demand, one of the things that we have to ask for, we talk about Pell gaps, we talk about Title I. Okay, so in the beginning, you go into Title I programs, and then you have TRIO programs, and then you have GEAR, you have all of the pathway programs. In New Jersey, where you find that there's disparities in the systems, you have the Abbott schools, and you put a little bit of money in there. But what we're not doing, and what we're not demanding, is adjusting the wealth gap. We will never be able to plug enough of the holes until we adjust for the wealth gap. I submit that whether it's in Title I asks or whether it's in reimbursement for your tuition or public service, we've got to include in that the wealth gap equalization. And that means because the whites in America, their average wealth is $100,000 to $200,000. Blacks is $10,000 to $20,000. We've got to include in whatever we ask. So if the teacher dollars for teacher relief after your student a certain number of years is $17,500. For blacks and browns, it's got to be $30,000 to make up for that wealth gap. Do you understand what I'm saying? And we've got to ask for that in everything. We've got to ask for it starting in Title I, all the way up, everything we have, but we can't just keep nibbling around the edges because we will never become whole.
We keep asking educators, why are you leaving? We need to ask the power structures, what will you do to make us stay? What will you do to keep us here?
When America wanted to be more scientific and wanted to compete globally in the STEM space, there was a big clarion call. And now we have all types of STEM programs to start little girls in STEM, to start underrepresented persons in STEM, and there are dollars channeled for that. We don't have that in education. All the data show 2%. We have 2% of black males in teaching professions, and so that's an emergency. We need to get the Department of Labor to declare blacks and browns in the education professions as a high need area, and then the federal dollars will flow so that we can level the field.
Michael, I'll go to you because you worked in the administration, right? And so you have had the voice of the President of the United States. You had the voice of policy makers. You had the voice of people who are the last persons in the room when decisions are made. And you feel the consternation, some of the constraints, some of the feelings from our teachers that we're undervalued, underpaid, disrespected. And how do you form that and into something that actually means something to the people who are actually doing the work?
I hope you feel that you have an administration, the Biden-Harris administration, that is listening, and Secretary Cardona, and our entire Biden-Harris team that is trying to do all we can to make sure that teachers have the tools they need and the supports they need. From my seat, what I will say as the person that's in charge of national service for the country, is what I'm excited about is AmeriCorps National Service is not only an incredible pathway to bringing more educators into the classroom, but what we're seeing through programs like Teach for America, City Year, National College Advising Corps, these folks are staying in education, they're becoming lobbyists, they're becoming activists, they're becoming policymakers, and so what I'm most excited about is how can this next generation come in and do the advocacy, do the support that we need to get the changes that we need.
Erica Jones, United Teachers Los Angeles. Also here with California Teachers Association. So a couple of things, because I think when we're talking about the educator shortage, and I know my sister who just got up and spoke to it also, we're forgetting about the current educators who are current educated. We're always talking about like the next generation. We have survived a collective trauma and there's no space for us to actually talk about what we went through. So I guess my question is, what is our organizing plan? Because we can't vote our way out of this. And so it can't just be, let's make sure we have the right people in office who are then gonna sit and not do the right thing in the So what is our organizing plan? I am looking to my AFT leader. What is our organizing plan and strategy around any of this, whether it's building partnerships with HBCUs or really uplifting the current educators who are practitioners, or looking at how we're going to look in the next 10 years, not have it to where we're all in an auditorium babysitting and all of our students are in front of a computer with a privatized curriculum.
Where are we going to get on liberation from standardized tests?
But what I will tell you is this, that there is a definitive plan from not only the ballot box but to the 10,000 school districts that we have in America. There are over 10,000 school districts in America, and we've got a problem not only at the top, but we've got a problem with school board members. We've got a problem with superintendents. We've got a problem with mayors and commissioners and city officials. And we've got to deal with the folks that are on the ground first, because if this is not a bottom-up approach, the top-down approach will never work. The sister is absolutely right that we need a national plan. That national plan starts with grassroots. It also starts with working with our schools of education. It also starts, just like we're doing in every union around this country, with continuing to demand more, continuing to negotiate through our way to better pay. Because listen, at the end of the day, teachers want to get paid like anybody else. And that should not be a secret, and that should not be something that we don't talk about. We need to take care of our elderly parents. We need to put our own children through school. We have sicknesses and illness that we deal with. We want to take care of our homes. We want our cars not to be foreclosed on. And it's happening way too often to our colleagues across this country. So yes, there's a plan. Yes, there's organizing going on. It starts where you are, because you are at the local, and that's the leadership that we need to not only protect what we have, but to gain what we don't.
Because I hear every time I go to any of these conversations, they're talking about classroom size. And I think that's a great thing. But I think the downside of that policy is, I've been a band director. So for you to have your 30 kids in your class, I get 150 in my class in one period. So what is being done to protect the creative art space? Because we become a dumping ground so you can have your 30 classes in your English, math, and your science.
And so what are some ways that you guys feel that we can protect our rights? In the Washington Teachers Union, we still don't have a contract. And so, we like one, but more so than money that contract will provide us, we want rights. We want to maintain our rights so that this young man over here, a teacher like him who works in DC, won't have 100 students that they have to teach, because that's not sustainable. And that's a way that they seep in institutionalized racism against us.
Yes.
They give us these big classes so we can't move mountains, we cannot help our students, and someone tells us we can keep doing it, but that's not the right conditions for our kids. Our kids deserve better. They deserve smaller classes. They deserve teachers without gray hair like this. They deserve a more stress-free environment, because those are the things that lead to high blood pressure, diabetes, all these things. These start in the classroom, in the schools, in our community. So how can we support and defend the rights of teachers, and make sure that more of our union rights are not being stripped away.
And you hear that frustration, you know, coming out in a lot of different ways. People being squeezed in every way possible in the classroom, and they're being asked to do more and more and more with less. More and more and more with less. Then do some more, and then do this, and care about the kids. Nobody cares about the kids more than the people that are closest to the kids. Nobody. We are the first to learn their names and the last ones to let them go. That's who we are. And so we don't have to validate that to anybody, but then we get criminalized in public because we're asking for more money, because we're asking for benefits, because we're asking for smaller class sizes, because we're asking you to throw away these damn stupid texts, because we're asking for you not to send a crazy administrator who had 2 years experience into my classroom to tell me to help you. You know, those are some of the things, and I'm not bashing administrators, Dr. I don't think I am. But I want you to understand that these are the frustrations. Then you hear a school board member who's smarter than thou, never been in the classroom outside of the other side of the desk. And then they're telling everybody, making all these crazy public policies that we can't teach this and you can't teach this. And they're bringing politics into our classroom and expect us not to fight back with politics. You can't bring that crap into our, almost said, you can't bring that stuff into our classrooms and not expect people to fight back. We're educated. In fact, we're the most educated professionals in this country. And you cannot expect us not to fight back. And then when we get out to the ballot box, and then when we get out to do, you attack the damn union. You attack people who are collectively gathered, who are collectively saying, enough is enough. And we gotta do this. How do you attack 77% women? What are we saying about our society when you attack smart, educated women in our community who are trying to give to our babies? That's what they do. And then you tell the men, damn that, go work somewhere else because you can't pay for a family. There's no way you can be the dude at a house because you're gonna suffer and you gotta work extra classes, and then you have to go and get you a master's degree that costs you $35,000 and you still got enough more student loans. So it's over and over and over and time again, and people get tired of being pressed, and you get tired of seeing your colleagues chased out of the classroom.
Yes.
Good people are going to be police officers, and are going to be garbage workers, and are going to be Walmart workers, because they say, damn this, I'm done, I cannot take it. It's not the physical stress, it's the mental stress. Our counselors need counselors. It took everything I had to stay in my place today. And I'm going to stay in my place because I understand, because I work at a union. It's the emergency room. People come to us every single day because their life is on fire. Why is a first grade teacher who is given to 30 kids every day, 25 years of her life, why is her life on fire? Because some knucklehead says that she didn't pass a damn evaluation that doesn't mean a damn business to anybody else. Why is that fire? They do the same thing to paraprofessionals. They do the same thing to secretaries. And that's why we can't get anybody in this country to drive the damn bus. Because they do the same thing. And so I'm asking everyone, know that we're in a fight. Know that we have to organize. And know that we have things to do. But don't give up hope. Don't lose your fight. Don't let that pain take away your passion. Love those kids. That's what we have to do. And that's who we are. Educators have always made the difference. We have always made the difference because our students have always been on the forefront of the fight. From civil rights to social justice to voting rights, our young people have always stood out at lunch counters. Our young people have always been chased by dogs. Our young people have always been sprayed by water hoses. Guess what they learned? In the classroom. Because somebody in some school, somewhere in this country said, it's okay to put your voice in a conversation and make sure that you have the fire and power to do that.